Hey everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. We are going to be working with the Down on the Farm collection from Echo Park. And it is a very busy, bold collection of colors. There's reds, greens, blues, yellows. I mean, there's so many things going on. But we are going to be using the frames and tags along with the paper pack. That includes the 12x12 sticker sheet and 12 sheets of cardstock. 2 of each of them. As you can see, there's gardening stuff, chickens, dairy, horses. We are also going to be using cherry cobbler and blueberry bushel cardstock from Stampin' Up, which is a nice red and a blue. I decided not to go with a neutral this time because I didn't want to introduce another color. And the embellishments were both black and white with this collection, so I decided to kind of keep it with the primary, like the red and the blue, because that's what I felt kind of stood out the most with the embellishments and with the papers that I plan to use. That's why there's no neutral cardstock this time. So when it came to picking the papers, this was actually really difficult because, as you can see, they are all over the place. There really isn't any grounding color. So what I do when I pick my papers is when there's 2 of each of them like this, I flip them over so that I see both sides. So first thing I'm going to do is eliminate the journaling cards. I always do this because I only use them if I have to. They make great embellishments for the pages, and they make great scrap paper. Okay, so now we're down to the next part of our paper selection. Here, this blue plaid is really the only one that isn't about an image, so that's going to be one of our accents. And we're also going to go with this truck one here as an accent because there's green, blue, and red in with it, and the trucks are going to go with animal themes or gardening, so it's kind of the most neutral as well. Now for backgrounds, this is where you guys need to pick the one that's going to work for the pages that you're going to be doing. So if you visited a farm, you might do more animal ones, or if you live on a farm and have chickens or have horses or cows, you might pick different paper. There's also a seed packet paper, so that would be great for general gardening. I went ahead and picked the ones that I thought worked best for the pages I want to do. So I'm going to do a gardening page, a chicken page. For the next 2 background papers, it was a little bit harder because I didn't really know what I wanted in mind for my pictures. I mean, we have cows and horses and tractors and dogs and cats and the whole works. So I mean, really we could use anything. But I think I'm gonna go ahead with this green mint colored background paper, even though it's like really odd and I don't know if I really like it. But there are embellishments that do kind of go with that color. This brown horse one here, I've seen better horse paper and the browns just don't go with anything. So that one's a no-go for me. And then I think that red, blue, yellow circle ones, that's kind of more around dairy. I think that one I'm going to use as well, just because it ties in a lot of the colors really well. So I think those are my next 2 choices, just based on looking at some of the embellishments that I have here. And then we're going to go ahead and save that red dairy paper, and we might cut it up and use it as a background paper if we need it later on when we're assembling our pages. We have cutting diagrams in my tutorial videos, and I just kind of want to let you know how to read them. So there's the number in top in inches, and that's going to be the size that we're going to cut that cut piece into. And there's a number below it in a circle. So a lot of the times we're making 4 pages or 6 pages when we're using these cutting diagrams, and all these cut pieces can sort of get very disorganized. So that number inside of the circle there represents a pile that you're going to put that cut piece into. So for a 4-page tutorial, we're going to make 4 piles, and for a 6-page tutorial, we're going to make 6 piles. So the numbers are going to be either 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. So page 1 is going to have all the cut pieces that have a circle with the number 1 inside, and so on for the 4 or 6 pages. So now we're going to go ahead and take all pieces of our cardstock, and we are going to cut 1 inch in, 1 inch from the top, and 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to make a straight line on all 4 sides of each of these pieces of cardstock. What we're basically doing is cutting a 10 by 10 inch square out of the center of this piece of cardstock. The border is going to be put into our pile, and the center, the 10 by 10 inch center, is going to be put to the side, and we're going to be cutting it with another cutting diagram as soon as we're done cutting out all of these squares. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the backgrounds for our pages. So we are going to be cutting the barcode strip off along with 1/2 inch, and then 1/2 inch on the other side. So we're going to be making an 11.5 inch by 11.5 inch square for all of our background papers. If you want the pages to look exactly like mine, make sure that the trucks are not going sideways through the cutter. So cut them in the same direction as shown here in the video. For this next page, I felt like we needed a little bit more on the background, so I added this red dairy paper that is cut out at 7.5 inches by 10 inches long. So just that's something you're gonna have to do extra as far as cutting paper, is to make that red cow paper 7.5 inches wide by 10 inches high. So the concept behind how I scrapbook is I like to keep everything simple. And that's because I ended up in a place many years ago where I had this room full of stuff, like way too much stuff. And it just got overwhelming. And there was this obligation to use all of this product that I had that was like stacking up and stacking up. And it led me to this place where when I buy stuff, I want to buy mostly consumable product so that I use it all and then I'm done with it. So that's why I try to be really efficient with the products that I'm buying and the amount of embellishments I'm buying with them to make the pages. And I try to use the least amount of tools as possible. Most of the time, the only tools we're going to need on my videos is adhesive, foam tape, and scissors. I just upgraded my scissors to these Tim Holtz 7-inch ones. They are amazing. Like I have big hands, so to give you some perspective, like I wear a ring size 9 on my wedding ring finger, and my hands fit very nicely in these scissors. When you size compare them to my other scissors, the blade is about the same length, but look at the handles. Okay, these scissors are non-stick, so they work great with the foam tape, and they're also serrated, so they cut very, very nicely. It's definitely an upgrade that I should have made a long time ago. So here I'm cutting out a journaling card, and I'm going to use it as an embellishment on my page, and I'm going to place it here in this bottom left corner of my below my 4x6 photo, and we're going to pop it up with some foam tape. Now this embellishment does stick over my 4x6 photo area, so when we use the foam tape, I am going to make sure that that top corner that's over top of my 4x6 photo area is not, I'm not going to remove the adhesive backing so that it ends up not being sticky, because I don't want it to stick to that 4x6 photo area. At least not yet, not until I put my photo in. And you guys can definitely put photos in while you're doing this tutorial. So, I mean, if you do want to stick it to your photo, you can, and if you don't have to. So that one piece of foam tape, I'm not going to remove this film so that it ends up being not sticky. Okay. Now here I'm just going to try and make a cluster that goes along with this, and I'm gonna leave sort of a blank area on top of that blue cardstock to put a title, and we're gonna come up with something clever, I'm sure, for a title, something that works with the whole chicken coop concept, but I'll probably let my kids decide what they want to call it, the title, because a lot of times I take pictures of them picking the eggs or just cleaning out the chicken coop and things like that. So I'm going to kind of frame that area where I'm going to put the title, and sorry, my camera is sliding. I need to get a new camera holder because this one is just starting to not work very well, and I have a very obnoxious orange cat that lives in the house. So now we're gonna have to put a little bit of something in that bottom, like below that second photo area in the other corner, because again, I just want to frame that title area. And it's okay to leave, at this point, to leave some blank areas on your page, especially if you're the type that wants to like do more journaling. Like if you like to write like long stories on your pages, like move that whole red paper up that has the photos on top of it, and move it up to give yourself a little bit more space. Like it's totally up to you. Like I'm not the type of person that does lots of journaling. I think the pictures need to be the most important part, and you use the embellishments to sort of help give a vibe to the paper. I don't do tons of journaling. Like sometimes I will, but not always. And so I don't like to leave like big areas for journaling, because then you end up with big gaps in your page. But again, everyone has a different style and a different way, so improvise it a little bit. You don't have to do it exactly. So now I'm going to go through my journaling cards and kind of pick something to put here below this 3x4 photo. And here, use whatever journaling card is suited to what you want to do with this paper. My son, he is starting a herd of cows, his own herd, and so he's very passionate about it, and he enjoys that. So this might be the paper that he reaches for, even though it's not the right color of cow or type of cow. But home is where your herd is, totally suits him. So I really like this journaling card for this page. It also incorporates some of that green, like minty color in with the background. It kind of just gives like this pop of that mint color that this page needs, because the rest of it is very red and very blue. So I did know for sure that I wanted to use something with the mint color to go tie in with this background. It's really hard to see the depth of the things that are on the page when you see it from overhead. So sometimes I do like to add in a little picture in the top corner of like a side angle shot of a cluster of embellishments. But also, if you want to see some of the little details, I do have all of these videos posted as pictures on my blog, which there's a link to it in the description below. So if you want to see a still shot of these pages to see details that are kind of slowed down, or you can take your time looking at them, I do have still photos of these pages on my blog, so you can kind of go through and look at it that way. So this page here is all about gardening, so I knew that I wanted to use this fresh banner and to get an idea of where it's going. Instead of individually picking them off, and because their stickers are going to stick to the page, I'm choosing to just cut it out. Sorry, you can't, I did it off camera. But you just cut it out, put it where you want it, see how you like it, see how it looks, and then kind of go from there if you want to add more embellishments to it, or maybe add a little bit more to it here and there. It's just a great way to see what it looks like without individually picking off the stickers and then worrying about them sticking to the page. So it's really nice just to cut it out sometimes. I really liked this Garden Fresh piece that was on one of the journaling cards. So I cut it out and I'm going to put it in that top corner, because that top corner is very blank. So I did think about putting the fresh banner up there, but the banner is just too busy. The colors are too busy, and it would have been lost. Like it would have just you wouldn't have seen it well enough, and it just would have been busy on top of busy. So this is where I decided to use some of the sayings, some of the things that I wanted to say on this page. So in that top corner, I popped up the Garden Fresh word but the other two are just stuck directly onto the page. And then I added on this teeny tiny little saying on top of the Garden Fresh that says, farm life is the best life. You don't have to do that, I just kind of did it just to add another little layer there. In this bottom right corner of the page, even though that plaid little banner thing you don't really see it all that much, I still put it because it's another layer, and it's another way of tying different embellishments together. So when you create layers like that and you offset them a little bit, it seems to tie in a cluster of stuff a little bit better than if you just put things side by side. So here I wanted to put this picture over top of the banner. So I'm just gonna be trimming the edges just so that there's like a little bit of the banner showing along each edge. So I don't even know if I cut off 1/4 inch off of each side, and then I just cut the bottom into a triangle to follow the banner shape of that blue plaid banner. And I'm just gonna tuck it underneath this journaling card here that has the farm rules on it. You'll just have to pull down the banner far enough that when you use the pop-ups here to pop up this banner, that the farmer embellishment image here doesn't cover all of the words on that farmhouse rules journaling card. So I was initially going to use this ribbon here, and I was going to use all of it, but it was just too big. And so after, I just decided to cut the circle part of the ribbon and just stick it down on top of the farmer embellishment there. And I also wanted to add this next tag here that said Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So I'm just gonna offset that blue plaid banner just a little bit. Sorry, my camera keeps sliding. Just so that they're gonna fit on the page well next to each other. And then I just kind of clustered embellishments around that Farmhouse Rules journaling card area and added those two, the Home Sweet Home and the Beautiful banner up at the top left corner. And I wanted to cluster a little bit more around that Good Life area on the bottom left of the page. So I added another little saying there and this fresh air banner. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. It's very different than what we're used to. We've been working with a lot of pinks and feminine kind of colors lately. So to do something that was more bold and had a lot of colors in it was definitely a challenge, but hopefully it'll appeal to someone, and we will see you guys next week with another tutorial on Friday. Thank you so much for watching.